ladies and gentlemen, this is a new thing that I want to be doing on this channel fairly frequently, especially since this channel doesn't really get too much action unless there's a pay-per-view that goes on that's worth talking about, unless you're USW pay-per-view, which I always talk about you. But since I have the whole Wrestle Target thing on Twitter, and on top of that I want to be more active, I'm going to start taking a more active lead towards doing so. So I'm going to start a new segment called the Wrestle Target Rundown, in which instead of reviewing a specific pay-per-view or a specific show, I'll just talk about the matches very briefly and kind of discuss my opinions and takeaways on them firsthand. And I'll do it live, and it'll be kind of like a what just happened kind of thing, like what Culture does. So, bear with me. It's going to be in the early stages, but let's just have fun. So this is USW Allegiance 2018, the Wrestle Target Rundown. For starters, the kickoff match. I don't believe it was a kickoff match, but I'm pretty sure it was a kickoff match. Weiler versus Seth. Weiler beat Seth. This match existed. I don't really have much else to say about it. I don't remember why their feud started, nor do I think I care. But Weiler won. Alright. Next match was Dustin Raymond and Hernasli, and after a really good match, Dustin Raymond did win. This was his, I believe, his return match, or no, last month was his return match. This was his next match, and Hernasli needed to win to get momentum, but he didn't. And, so, I don't know what's going on with Hernasli now. He's a great wrestler and all. He's not winning. Kind of a problem. He's not winning. Fans still cheer him. He's not winning. Being booked. You see a problem there? Next match to talk about was Gringo and Fernandez against Simon Saint and Prophecy, and I thought we got done with that last month, but I guess not. Also, the Fernandez and Gringo are now calling themselves the Marvelous Brothers. So I guess that's their new name, but they were billed as Fernandez and Gringo, so I don't know if it's like a bad influence or slash Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian kind of thing, but if that's the case, we could avoid a lot of confusion, just either call them one or the other. That'd be fantastic. They beat Prophecy and Simon Saint, which does nothing for Simon Saint, and equally, if not less than nothing for Prophecy. Good for Fernandez and Gringo for actually doing something of note, but yeah, that really sucks for Simon Saint, but especially Prophecy. I don't know what I don't know what their plans are for Call of Greatness for them. That's a weird situation. I'm not sure if Simon Saint turned on Prophecy or not. I didn't watch after the match, but I heard something about dissension of the ranks, so good for them, I guess. Next match was for the USW Championship shot at Call to Greatness 13, where Morgan Anthony, dear God, not Morgan Anthony, Mr. Anthony defended it against Derek Carter, and he actually did win. That was somewhat surprising to a lot of fans, but at the same time kind of not, because there was a lot of negative criticism towards, mostly negative criticism towards Mr. Anthony winning at Insanity, so, they were kind of trying to take steps back and go, yeah, he's not going to be pushed to the moon, Derek Carter just beat him. But then, you had the shot to kind of take that away from him and give him a more progressive story going into Call to Greatness, in which, he has to fight his way up to the top. He can't just get lucky, because then, it got snatched away from him, so he has to work his way up to the top now, and that's a great, story for the fans. Maybe they didn't have something for Call to Greatness, for him, and that was the only option. Really, your guess is as good as mine, but Mr. Anthony won. I think a lot of people thought, USW kind of booked themselves into a corner there, Mr. Anthony's, just got here, and now he's about to headline Call to Greatness. I don't know if that's a good idea. Maybe we should kind of find a way to switch that around. So they could have had Derek Carter win, and, that would have been interesting to see a main event with other people, involved. But then again, it would have been, another Derek Carter versus, young lion kind of thing. He passed the torch to Ezra and Kills last year. I think he would end up doing the same to James this year, but maybe this was their way. I don't know. Maybe this was their way of saying, hey, Derek, we don't need to lose 2 Call of Greatnesses in a row. We'll give you a good program going in, but at the same time, it kind of thrusts Mr. Anthony's push on to the sword, which is kind of booking yourself in a bad position. So, a really messy kind of situation. I'd love to see the outcome of it, but and that's what we have to deal with there. Next match was the USW Tag Team Championships. The Martin Brothers beat CED and ED, who returned a couple of weeks ago. And, just, it was a one-off thing. I don't think they're contracted, at least not that I know of, or that anybody else is aware of. But, yeah, CED and ED came back to, give the Martin Brothers an opponent. Stargazers nowhere to be found. Fernandez and Gringo are off doing something else. Simon Satan Prophecy aren't a team. MP45 apparently doesn't exist anymore. So Martin Brothers beat CD and ED, and they get to go to Call to Greatness as USW Tag Team Champions. Cool. Red Belt Championship. Philip Akron beats Anarchy to become the new Red Belt Champion. Why? What? I mean, Philip Akron has a fantastic run as a Blue Belt Champion. I gotta put him in the Red Belt Championship picture? Since when does having a title-making reign come with an emotion? I don't remember when doing your job well meant you get shifted to the basement. Well, technically it's not the basement. Well, technically it is the basement. Jesus. Is the Red Belt Championship really the basement championship? Is it really the basement at all? I mean, I'm sure some singles competitions are more enticing than a Red Belt. Jesus, guys, come on. Pick up the pace with the Red Belt Championship. Well, Philip Akron is the new Red Belt Champion. He's, running amok in a guess what is now the basement championship of USW. And I don't know what happens now. I thought this was just, hey, Philip, hey. You lost your title. You did a damn good job, though. Listen, we don't really have a position for you at the USW Championship picture. So could, you mind just following me? Couple steps down. Just a couple. No, I know this is more than a couple. Just a few. And now he's over in the Red Belt Championship picture. How do you solve the Red Belt Champion? It's like a puzzle that's unsolvable. It's like that stupid fucking wooden stack piece. It's not this is like a sex motion. I don't know what this is, but it's a puzzle piece that you can't put together properly. And now you're gonna thrust one of your best talents and hottest talents, best commodities onto. This is the company that put Austin Atomic down in the basement after having a career-defining match at Call to Greatness in the main event. Why do I expect anything less? Blue Belt Championship was next. Dwayne Porter beat Tyreek Carver to become the new Blue Belt Champion. He now holds the record for the most amount of reigns with the Blue Belt Championship. I believe Anarchy was tied with him at 8, and now Dwayne Porter has 9, so he's a 9-time Blue Belt Champion. Oh, Jesus fuck. Okay, 9 Blue Belt Championship reigns. The belt's only been around since January of 2013. It's March of 2018. 9 times in 5 years. 5! And you've held it this many times. Now, you can't see shit here. You don't know how many fingers I'm holding up here. It's a middle finger. Couldn't even see that. Fuck you. But Dwayne... Okay, so Dwayne Porter... Oh, fuck him. Is this their way of solving the Dwayne Porter problem? Just thrust him back into the picture that you ripped him away from to begin with? Hey, come out of here. You're falling. Here. Go back here. There you go. That's not how you solve a problem. If your sink is leaking, you don't just bust the pipe open and let the water flow and then pick it up in a bucket and dump it back in the sink. That's not what you do. That's not how you solve things. That's not how... if this works, that's gonna be... I mean, I fucking... That's me shoving my foot... If that happens, I'll eat my sock. But if it doesn't, though it has a possibility of it happening... If it doesn't happen, I won't be surprised. But if it does happen, I would be surprised. I mean, Dwayne Porter was a great Blue Belt champion, but again, you don't just jump into a pool in the middle of December and expect it to be a hot tub. No, you don't do that. Just like you don't see a leak in your pipe, break the pipe open, get the water in a box, and dump it back in the sink. That's not how this works. Shame, 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 shame. What is happening? Why? What? You took the title away from Tyreek Carver, who was doing great with the belt. He held it since November. And then December was a good match, I think. And then January was alright. That was a good defense. February was alright. Ripped it away from him before Call to Greatness. Shame on you. Boo. Boo. Either way, Dwayne Porter is a blue belt champion, and I live in hell. Next, USW Championship is on the line. James defends against Zach Hardy. James walks out with the victory after a Kyle Reese Jr. interference. Obviously, as we saw earlier, Zach Hardy challenged Kyle Reese Jr. to a Hell in a Cell match at Call to Greatness 13, one of the very few confirmed or at least, scheduled matches for Call to Greatness on the card. You get, with James's championship retainment, you got James versus Mr. Anthony. The main event at Call to Greatness, you've got a rumor about, the God Complex and the Mobocracy fighting in one of the headline matches. You gotta get an idea that Morbid's coming back, or what Morbid's gonna, the dark side of Morbid's gonna come back, or whatever. Whatever. But rocky card so far. But either way, Atlantic City is looking to be a good show. You got a Hell in a Cell match between two of the biggest icons of the company. Then you got James defending the title against Mr. Anthony, and that should be a one-sided crowd. But I mean, it was interesting. You get a lot kind of done. You saw James's resilience, and when Hardy had him down, James would fight back, and when James had Hardy down, Hardy would fight back. And then Kyle Reese came out and he pulled the referee out from underneath the ring, and then Rose Lyon ran down and slapped Kyle Reese Jr. across the face, and then Zach Hardy countered the temple kick. Then he got hit in the head with a screwdriver. Then James hit the midway. Then he pinned him. And then Kyle Reese walks away. James walks away. Zach Hardy, Rose Lyon. Great show. Great way to end the show, I guess. Interesting way of doing it. Yes. James doesn't really look any stronger. He had the clean win over Zach Hardy at fucking, what was the pay-per-view? No Forgiveness. And then, he could have, defined it. But, maybe this is the building block to a third match. We'll accept it, and then, see what the fuck happens with Hardy and Reese, and then Rose Lyon's in it somehow, and I guess she's an interviewer, but not an interviewer, and a manager, and then there's a Hell in a Cell, but it's... why you gotta confuse me? Either way, that is USW Allegiance in a nutshell. That is the rundown, essentially. What did you think of the show? What were your opinions on the show? How did you feel about the outcomes? Did you like the show? Did you not like the show? Do you want to shit on the show? Do you want to talk about the show? Do you want to spit on the show? Do you want to jump the show? Do you want to fuck the show? I don't know what you do in the bedroom. I'm vanilla. My bad. Anyway, thank you for watching. I sincerely hope you enjoyed. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe for more. I'm Zach Hardy, and I am going to go cry my eyes out now. Love you all. Finish button. Finish.